And so she turns around one day and she says to me, Nabil, can I ask you a question? I said, go ahead. She says, do you know Jesus? Now, I had been prepared. I'd been scripted with the response to this question. So I said to her, in fact, Betsy, I do know Jesus. And she looks at me. I said, the Quran teaches me that Jesus is virgin born. The Quran teaches me that Jesus is the most miraculous man who ever lived. The Quran says that Jesus was able to heal the blind, cleanse the leper, even raise the dead. The Quran says that Jesus is the Messiah, and I know as a Muslim he's going to come back at the end of time and initiate the latter days. I said, but Betsy, I also know that Jesus is not God. And she says, no, Nabil, that's the most important part. Jesus is God. What does it mean for Jesus to be the Son of God? What does it mean for God the Father to be the Father? These are different roles in the Trinity. And oftentimes people see the term Son and then impute inferiority to the Son. How is it possible that Jesus is God when he says the Father is greater than I? And I would answer that question by saying, in our organization, Uncle is the CEO of the organization. He is greater than I am. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, he's at the top. He is greater than I am, but he is a human, just as I am. So his being is essentially equal to mine. He's a human being, I'm a human being, we're equal in that sense, but his role is greater than mine, and I'm inferior in that sense. So when Jesus says the Father is greater than I, the being is equal, the role is different. And so I went back to David and I said, all right, David, I see that the New Testament is reliable, but I don't see Jesus claiming to be God anywhere in the New Testament. Now keep in mind, this is the biggest sticking point for Muslims, because like I said earlier, Muslims believe that Jesus is the Messiah. Muslims believe that Jesus was the most miraculous man who ever lived. Some Muslims believe he's the only sinless prophet, truly sinless prophet who ever walked this earth. But the moment you say Jesus is God, in a Muslim's eyes, you are committing the worst blasphemy you could ever possibly commit. The Quran says very clearly, chapter 4, verse 171, as well as chapter 5, verse 72, that if you believe Jesus is God, you will go to hell. There's no arguing with that in the Muslim worldview. Chapter 5, verse 116 shows Jesus having a conversation with Allah, and Allah asked Jesus, did you ever tell people to worship you? And he said, by no means do I have the right to tell them to do something like that.